Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of Professionals Unplugged. I'm your host Utkarsh Shukla, and today we have Sathi with us as our guest. Sathi, thank you so much for joining in.
First of all, thanks a lot for having me here. I'm feeling very honored to be here. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. So let's start with a very basic question. Can you please introduce our audience to yourself, like who you are, what work you do, anything you want us to know about Sathi?
So, myself, Sathi Khatun, and I'm an author and poet. I wrote my first book at the age of 17 and my second book at the age of 18. So, the very first book, which was named as Take a Journey of Self Love, and second book named as Midnight, was luckily became the bestseller and which was very unexpected. And currently I am working on my first novel, which is about a disease schizophrenia. So I want to help people with my writing to know about more mental health and get out of it.
That's really amazing of you, and it's really a great work that you are doing in order to help people via the books that you are writing, right? So let's start with the first book that you have written. Can you please tell us about the inception of it, like why you have started writing that book and what was the main thought and reason behind writing it?
So when I first of all, I never actually talked or get into self love or something. But when I started writing about this book, Take a Journey of Self Love, I was at the stage where means I was stuck in some space about thinking, had lots of confusion about life and myself, about my personality. At that time, I thought that maybe people more like me are there and they should know about that how important it is to accept yourself, accept your body, your past, your traumas, everything. And when I wrote this, I realized that people are loving this. People, if the people are reading it, then maybe they are in need of more books like this.
That's really great. And talking about the second book, so did you follow the same pattern in the second one?
No, in when I started writing my second book, it was basically named as Midnight. So all poetry wrote in midnight at that time, and I named that before midnight because I thought that maybe the people like me, the every people at this generation especially, they all are mostly alone, mostly feel loneliness, and at that time at the midnight they are mostly most confused souls, and they need that. I have gone through a lot of people. I have learned about their experience, their life, and especially my mom. I have learned his her experience because I think that she is the kind of woman that I look up to. She was a single mother, which was an experience for me also because I have learned that she is a woman that struggling with lots of emotions, lots of mental issues, but just being a single parent, she was not able to get out of that. So, reason behind and perspective behind writing that book was to know that every woman out there, especially women, okay, so they need to know that you are not alone. There are more people, there are more women like you, and you can get out of that.
It's really great that you covered your entire journey in form of a books and presented it to the world, right? Because every story should be heard, and you're doing the same with your own, right? So kudos to you on the same. So if I ask you, like, what is the biggest challenge that you have faced till now? What it will be?
So the biggest challenge is I have many challenges because from childhood I was not like a child who will answer the questions in class every time the teacher asks. I was a child that whenever teacher will ask the question, I know the answer but I will not reply. I have lots of social anxiety. I have whenever I get out of my house, I think that maybe lots of judgmental issues I have. And when I was in my childhood, my mother, after realizing that she is alone and being a single parent, she can have that deserving life that she want. But the society we live in, it's a quite judgmental. And the society made me feel and my mother that being a single parent you can't survive in this generation, especially getting your job. When she started searching for jobs, she had lots of lots of rumors and some things like that, which really affected me and her also. But when I realized, growing up, I realized that maybe a woman like my mother, and there are more people like her, more women out there, not only women, girls also struggling with lots of judgmental issues, and I really wanted to help them, and then I started writing it.
It's really great. So if I ask you, like, if you can give one advice from your journey till now, what it will be?
I really want to give an suggestion or advice, you can say, that people, means everyone, boy, girl, childhood, children, adults, everyone should speak up. Means raise your voice even if you can't, because I have learned that my mother has taught me every time that if something is bad, you should raise your voice, because I think no other person in this world will speak for you if you are underconfident, especially the children of now. They are struggling a lot of things because the parents out there are many, they don't have time intentionally, no, but they don't have enough time to talk about it. And the children, especially the teenagers, they struggle a lot with social issues, mental issues, but they can't speak up with it, which really makes an effect their studies, their life. And I will only suggest that speak up for everything, seek help, and that will really help you.
That's really nice. And I think that's the most painful point that everyone is facing nowadays, right? In order to have a connectivity with their parents, especially if you are in your teenage or even if you're in your childhood, right? And
Yes.
it's a really important point, especially in a working family where one of your parent or both of your parents are working, then somehow or somewhere the children get lost the connect with their parents, right? So it's pretty important for us to know that thing and work on the same, right?
Yes.
And if I ask you, like, what's your dream right now? What it will be?
So the very first thing that it's on my mind is I want people to know me, because I think every author, every poet has their own style of writing, and many people don't know about it. So I'm a kind of writer who is writing about more about things that no one speaks about, like the things, the only author, or there are many authors, but the only author I like is Sylvia Plath. And she wrote a, she is a writing, she has that writing which is very raw, and that raw writing makes her unique. And sorry, when I started learning and started learning her journey, her childhood traumas and everything, I got to know that she, at that age also, she, if she was suffering, then in this generation also people are suffering. So I write about things that really affects, and people are forced to rethink about that. They're leaving, they are ignoring many things, and I really want people to rethink that the life you are living is not the real thing, because we are the people, we ignore many things, and which we realize only when we are mostly alone.
Right. I totally agree with you on this point. And coming to the stories that you have been through in your life, right? If I ask you, like, any story you like to share with us, what it will be?
So the very first story will be, means, can you repeat the question?
Yes. I'm saying, like, in your entire journey, you must have gone through many challenges and different phases, right? So if I can ask you, like, if you can share one story from your life till now, what it will be?
So the very first story will be, it's many, but the only story that I've always shared to many people is about my mother, because I think she's not only with, it's not only her struggle, because even when a child is living with a single parent or single, especially with a single woman, she also face or struggle with it. Because many nowadays, many parents realize that if they are single parent, they are struggling a lot, or the society judges them a lot. But the real problem is that the child, even mostly the child also face it, and
Right.
more than.
Correct. So, and that's how you are overcoming those things by writing the poets, right? The writing the
Yes.
poetry and books. Right. Good. Thank you so much, Satya. I think it was pretty good to know you and keep inspiring and keep shining.
Thank you for having me.